Pastor Sakalonda, considering that our former president was, of course, a political leader, people have strong emotions, towards him. A few things, of course, you had hinted at, and yes, we've seen on social media strong sentiments here and there in whatever direction. What, of course, we know that there are these emotions that are surfacing right now, but how can we process some of these emotions healthily? And I think we've seen that whole aspect of others saying, no, this one should not, this one should attend, this and that. And what is the right way of processing emotions when a thing like this happens? When a current leader, former leader, passes on.
I think, like we have noted, it's a difficulty and painful time. On one hand, we have people who thought, he was a symbol of hope.
Yes.
That perhaps come the next elections,
yes,
and being afforded an opportunity to stand, that perhaps he would be a better choice.
Yes.
Yet on the other hand, we also have people who looked to him as the father of the nation. And as you alluded to when we were beginning, I think we are one of those few nations on the planet who, at the moment, we have no former president.
Yes.
And the meaning that the position of the father of the nation is vacant.
Right.
So, it's a difficult time, with mixed emotions, and but I think what is important for us is borrowing from what we have said concerning Job. It's for us to be mindful of God's providence and sovereignty.
Yes.
God is the one who is driving driving history. He is in the driver's seat. In the New Testament times, I think towards around 90, 100 AD, the church was heavily persecuted.
That's right. Yeah.
Starting from about 60 AD when Nero was emperor, the church was heavily persecuted to the point that Christians began to think that perhaps this cosmic battle between God and Satan, Satan seems to be having an upper hand. God is losing it, and it's for that reason that his own people are being persecuted that way. But Revelation, the vision that John sees, it's intended to bring a message of hope to a people that are in despair and asking a lot of questions. And key to the vision of Revelation is actually Revelation and chapter 4, where John is allowed to have a vision of heaven, and he sees there's a throne and someone seated on it.
That's right.
God is seated on it, and he has a scroll in his hands symbolizing history. It has seals. And even when there was no one worthy found to open those seals,
that's right,
Jesus Christ appears and is the one worthy. He takes the scroll and he begins to open those 7 seals, and each time that he opens, something happens here on earth. Simply showing us that, look, God is driving history. And everything that is happening, whether good or bad, is happening at a time that God has determined and permitted. That is what we must be mindful of. God is in control. God is in charge. For us, we submit to his leadership. We submit to his providence and sovereignty. And simply say, well, Lord, here we are. Lead us. We talked about Romans 8 and verse 28. Paul says, and we know that God causes all things to work together for the good of those that love him, and also those that he has called to his purpose. It's very interesting, actually, to see how God sometimes uses those unusual circumstances, pain, suffering, affliction, to lead us to a place where he would like us to be.
That's
Think
right.
about Joseph,
Oh,
betrayed
yes.
by his own brothers, sold into Egypt as a slave, falsely accused in the home of his master,
Yeah.
and falsely imprisoned.
Yeah.
But all that, behind all that, God
Yes.
was orchestrating all those events.
Working behind the scenes.
Working behind the scenes.
Yes.
Until Joseph finds himself to be the second in command in the
The
nation
superpower.
of Egypt. Yes. Prime Minister of Egypt.
Yes.
To navigate the nation, in fact the whole world, navigate
Yes.
the whole world
Yes.
through the 7 years of plenty and through the 7 years of nothing.
Yeah.
And at the end of it,
Yes.
Joseph is able to recognize, because his brothers come to him and they are thinking, okay, now that our father has died, this guy will take
Will
revenge.
sort us out.
So they scheme a lie and say,
Yes.
no, before he died, he says you should promise that
Yes.
you. But look, Joseph answers and says, well, what you intended for my evil, God intended it for my good.
That's right.
And so that is simply a reflection of God's providence and sovereignty.
Yes.
And that is what must encourage us.
Yes.
Pain, suffering, death,
Yes.
the passing on of ACL. Well, there's something that God is doing.
Yes.
There's a place where he would like us to be.
Yes.
And for us, it's simply to watch and be still and wait
Yes.
upon him.
Yes. And I love what you said, because at the end of the day, like you have said, it reminds us that God is the one who is in charge and in control.
Yeah.
And all the more reason why we should actually depend on him, like you said.